All right, so I've had some questions related to the outline. And so I want to be able to walk you through hopefully some details to clarify what I'm expecting for this week. I have added an example outline and also a template to the outline Dropbox. And those things should help you. I want to walk you through what those look like. So let me share my screen and we will be able to get started. Okay, so here's what this looks like. This is the rubric for how you're going to be graded. Make sure that you have all of these components there ready to go. I want to know what your intended target audience is. I want to know what type of paper you're writing, analytical, expository, argumentative. I'm looking for content from discipline number 1. I'm looking for content from discipline number 2. I want to see that there is a clear and articulate thesis statement. So that means that your purpose should be easy to find and relevant. Just as a quick note related to discipline number 1 and discipline number 2, some of you had issues in choosing the disciplines, and I gave feedback related to your topics. If you have not resubmitted sort of another phase to that, do not start on this outline until you have approval from me. I don't want you to go to a lot of work for something that may or may not be correct. So I gave feedback if you needed to redo part of your topic. If you heard from me that it was fine, you are golden to get started. References, you need at least 5 in the outline. Parallelism, I'm looking for headings and subheadings that have parallel structure. So when we're starting content, starting with an adjective, all of it should start with an adjective, or all of it starts with a verb. That's what I'm looking for. Coordination, just significance. So like main points are all like large Roman numerals in an alphanumeric, and then subheadings kind of get less subordinate like as we go through. So in an alphanumeric outline, you'll have like point number 1 is like a big idea, and then A is a part of that big idea, B is another part of that big idea. When we go to like little I, it's like a subheading under A, those kinds of things. I gave you a link to the OWL website that shows you how to write an outline if you've never had to do it. It's basically the reason why we do this is because it's a good way to organize your content before you write a paper, rather than just sitting down and like word vomiting onto your screen and then hoping that it makes sense. It gives us a roadmap to our final project. Coordination, already kind of talked about in terms of significance, and then subordination is basically kind of the same thing. Every part in your outline should have at least 2 little things. So if you think like bullets or whatever, like there should be 2 parts under each, and then it should be organized. The flow of this should make sense. So starting with an intro into your like topic number 1, topic number 2, and then after that, headed to your conclusion. Okay. So that's the rubric that I'll be using to grade. This is worth 100 points. Now, I have provided you with a template, and it looks like this. So all you have to do is basically fill in the blanks. You don't have to have all of these components where it says like attention getting information, stats or facts. Those are things that usually are in an intro, right? Something to keep the reader engaged and make the reader want to continue to read. In this case, I added spots for 3 main topics, but you don't have to have 3. You need to have at least 2, but you don't have to have 3. You might have more than 3. And then there's a spot for a conclusion. Probably you would also have one more that would be references. And I didn't add that on the template, but that would be important as well. Okay, I've got one more thing to show you, and this is a sample outline. So this was a paper that was written in a previous JINS class that I taught. It was about inclusive technology in terms of recreational playgrounds. You can see here we have the intended target audience. It's an argumentative paper. The 2 disciplines that were used were disability studies and exercise science. Here's the information on the intro. All right, and you can see how we have with an A, we have a B. So there needs to be at least 2 parts. There's 2 here and 2 here, so that those things help. So this information helps support all of point A. All right. And then as you scroll down, you can see this one is missing like the second part. Like there should be another little like an II here to help support this statement. And then here's the thesis, the purpose for this paper. Here's the reference that was used for this information in the intro. Okay, and you might have more than one reference that you use for the information, right? So here are the big ideas: importance of inclusion within disability, physical activity for individuals with disability, and then inclusive playgrounds to provide physical activity for individuals with disability. Notice how these big ideas are not just disability studies and exercise science. This is what makes the paper interdisciplinary. Come up with some topics related to your two disciplines, and then you'll use your two disciplines to examine whatever that topic is, right? So this is a good mix as we go through. And then you can see there's references for that section, and then here are the points for the conclusion. So those are the kinds of things that I'm looking for when we talk about the outline. I've given these examples in Blackboard. You'll be able to see them. If you have questions this week, please let me know. I will be traveling this weekend, so it's going to be a little bit harder to get a hold of me if you wait until Friday night or Saturday. Early on would be better if you don't want to get too far into this and not be doing it right. So please just ask if you think that there's a chance that you might not be doing things right. I'm happy to give feedback. All right, one last thing before I let you go. I had a couple questions related to why everything is due on Saturday rather than Sunday. And here's the short version, really is twofold. Number one, Sunday gives me that day to get some grading done. It allows me to look through what everybody's submitted and then give feedback. And that way I can address issues that we have as a class, or I can address issues that each individual or student has. And it allows me to do that before we start the new content, so that you're not having to fix issues because we're writing papers, and what you're doing one week will affect what you're doing the next week. So it gives me a chance to be able to do that in that interim. It does put the pressure on me a little bit to get things done on Sunday. From your point of view, I'm a big proponent of wellness, and it is summer. And I think that is important for you guys to have at least some time this summer to do fun things and to spend time kind of filling up your wellness gas tank. And it is hard to do that if you work all week and then spend all weekend working on assignments. So let's just make sure that we have good time management during the week, chip away at this stuff a little bit here, a little bit there. We finish everything up on Saturday. It gives you the day Sunday to not have to worry about school, so that we can be a little bit better refreshed going into the next week's content. So that's my twofold explanation. Other classes that have gone through this have given great feedback related to that. I know that sometimes it is hard, especially if you are working a lot of hours during the week, to make sure that you get everything done. But if you have good time management during the week, you should be able to do that. If there's extenuating circumstances, all you have to do is let me know. Now, all that said, let's try to stay on track, and hopefully you're having a great summer. If you have questions, please just let me know. I'm happy to help.